Start with Why by Simon Sinek. You don't follow leaders because of what they do. You follow them because of why they do it. Why do some people inspire loyalty while others simply demand it? Why do some businesses thrive while others fade into the noise? It's not talent. It's not luck. It's something deeper. A purpose that connects, drives, and transforms. In Start with Why, Simon Sinek lays out a game-changing idea. Great leaders and organizations don't start with what they do. They start with why. This book dives into the core principles of inspired leadership. Principles that have revolutionized companies like Apple, sparked movements, and shaped human progress. You'll discover the Golden Circle, a simple yet profound framework for communicating, leading, and inspiring. More than that, you'll learn why people don't buy what you sell. They buy why you sell it. Lesson 1. Inspired organizations start with why. Inspiration fuels the greatest organizations, and it all begins with their why. Simon Sinek explains that an organization's why is its purpose, its reason for existing beyond just making money. It's the belief that drives them, the cause they stand for, and the vision they pursue. As Sinek puts it, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Apple's success isn't just about selling computers, phones, or MP3 players. It's about challenging the status quo and thinking differently. Their message is clear. We think differently. We make beautifully designed, user-friendly products. That clarity of purpose inspires customers, employees, and fans to rally behind their brand. Think about it. Why would anyone stand in line for hours to buy the latest iPhone? It's not because of its technical features. It's because they believe in Apple's why, a belief in innovation, simplicity, and design. Compare that to Dell. Dell makes great computers, but they never communicated a larger purpose. They focused solely on their what, and as a result, they faded into the background. When organizations start with why, they transform from businesses into movements. People don't just buy products, they buy into a cause. Employees aren't just workers, they become believers. Customers aren't just consumers, they become loyal advocates. And that is the power of starting with why. It builds a connection that transcends transactions. When your why is clear, your organization will inspire loyalty, drive innovation, and spark growth, because people want to be part of something bigger than themselves. Lesson 2. Manipulation versus inspiration. Businesses have two choices: manipulate or inspire. Manipulation might work in the short term, but it comes at a steep cost. Discounts, promotions, and fear-based tactics create pressure on the buyer and the seller. They get you quick sales, but they don't create loyalty. Simon Sinek warns, manipulations lead to transactions, not loyalty. Think of a business that constantly slashes prices to attract customers. Sure, they may see an uptick in sales, but the moment their competitor offers a lower price, those customers will jump ship. Manipulation makes you dependent on the next sale, the next discount, the next deal to stay afloat. It's exhausting, unsustainable, and ultimately weakens your business. Inspiration, on the other hand, builds trust. Trust creates loyalty, and loyalty lasts. Take Harley-Davidson. Their motorcycles are expensive, loud, and impractical, but people buy them anyway, and they tattoo the logo on their bodies. Why? Because Harley inspires freedom, rebellion, and a sense of belonging. They're not selling motorcycles, they're selling a way of life. That's the difference. Manipulation appeals to logic, while inspiration appeals to emotion. People will forget a discount, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And feelings are what inspire action. Businesses that lead with why don't need to manipulate. They attract. People choose them because they believe in what they stand for. Inspiration is the long game, and it wins every single time. Lesson 3. The Golden Circle. Why, how, what? Simon Sinek's Golden Circle is one of the most powerful frameworks for leadership and communication. Picture 3 concentric circles. Why at the center, how in the middle, and what on the outside. Most companies work from the outside in. They start with what they do, their products, services, or features. Then they explain how they do it, their processes, their differentiators, their methods. But they rarely talk about why, and that's a mistake. Leaders who inspire work from the inside out. They start with why. Why is your purpose, cause, or belief? It's the reason you exist. How is the process, principles, or values that bring your why to life? What is the result? The product, service, or offering you provide. Let's take TiVo as an example. TiVo created an incredible product that allowed users to record, pause, and rewind live TV, a game changer in the industry. But TiVo only talked about what it did, the features, the functions, the technology. They never communicated why it existed, to give viewers more control over their time. Without a why, their message didn't connect. In contrast, Apple starts with why. Their message isn't about computers or phones. It's about challenging the status quo. They think differently. That belief resonates with people, and as a result, they inspire loyalty. When you start with why, you don't just sell products, you sell a vision. You create a message that connects with people's hearts, not just their minds, and that is how you inspire action. Lesson 4. The Science of Why, Winning Hearts and Minds. The golden circle isn't just a theory, it's rooted in biology. The human brain mirrors the golden circle. The what corresponds to the neocortex, the part of the brain responsible for logic, facts, and language. It's where we process information rationally, but the neocortex doesn't drive decisions. Decisions are made in the limbic brain, the part of the brain that controls emotions, feelings, and instincts. The limbic brain has no capacity for language, but it's where trust and loyalty are born. That's why we say things like, "It just feels right." Logic alone won't inspire people to take action. Gut decisions, those made in the limbic brain, are what drive behavior. Inspiring leaders understand this. They speak to people's emotions first by starting with why. Think of it this way. Have you ever spent hours analyzing pros and cons only to feel paralyzed by indecision? That's the neocortex at work. But when something feels right, you make the decision quickly, even if you can't explain it. That's your limbic brain in action. Inspiring leaders connect with this emotional part of the brain. They communicate their purpose, their why, and people feel it. And when people feel it, they trust it. Trust is what wins hearts and minds. And when you win hearts and minds, you inspire action. Lesson 5. Clarity, discipline, and consistency. To inspire, you need 3 things: clarity, discipline, and consistency. Clarity means knowing your why and articulating it in a way that others can believe. Discipline means staying true to your hows, the values, systems, and processes that bring your why to life. Consistency means proving your why through what you do, your products, services, and actions. When these 3 elements align, you build trust, and trust is the foundation of loyalty. Think of Walmart under Sam Walton. Their why was clear: to help people save money so they can live better. Every action, from their prices to their customer service, aligned with that purpose. But when Walmart prioritized profits over people, they lost their why. Trust eroded. Customers and employees felt betrayed. As Simon Sinek says, authenticity is when what you do proves what you believe. People don't want empty words. They want proof. They want actions that align with your purpose. When your why, how, and what are consistent, your organization becomes authentic, trustworthy, and inspiring. It's that simple. Lesson 6. Leadership is about trust. Leadership isn't about power or authority. It's about trust. People willingly follow leaders who stand for something bigger than themselves. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't manipulate. He inspired. He didn't have a plan. He had a dream. He communicated why he believed change was possible, and people followed him. Trust, Simon explains, is not rational. It's emotional. It's built when people believe that a leader's actions match their words. And that trust is what transforms a leader from a manager into a visionary. When leaders earn trust, people choose to follow them, not because they have to, but because they want to. True leadership is about inspiring others to believe in a shared purpose, and then taking action together to achieve it. Lesson 7. Charisma versus energy. Charisma inspires while energy excites, and the difference is critical. Steve Ballmer, former CEO of Microsoft, is the perfect example of energy. He was loud, enthusiastic, and full of vigor, and while that energy motivated people, it didn't inspire them. Compare that to Bill Gates. Gates, while soft-spoken and somewhat awkward, had clarity of purpose. He knew his why: to put a computer in every home. That clarity made him charismatic, not because of his personality, but because of his unwavering vision. Simon Sinek explains, Charisma has nothing to do with energy. It comes from clarity of why. Great leaders like Steve Jobs, Walt Disney, and Martin Luther King Jr. all shared this trait. Their charisma wasn't about volume or excitement. It was about purpose. Energy fades, but charisma lasts because it's tied to something deeper. When you're clear about your why, people don't just hear you, they feel you. And that is what truly inspires action. Lesson 8. Success versus achievement. Achievement is hitting measurable goals. Success is a state of fulfillment. Many leaders achieve great things, yet feel empty because they've lost their why. Simon Sinek highlights this disconnect. Achievement happens when you reach your goals. Success happens when your why is fulfilled. Think of it this way. You can hit every milestone on your roadmap, but if you're not aligned with your purpose, those achievements will feel hollow. Leaders who keep their WI and focus experience true success because their achievements serve as signposts along a purposeful journey. Take entrepreneurs at the Gathering of Titans event. Despite building million-dollar companies, 80% admitted they didn't feel successful. Why? They lost sight of their why. When you pursue goals that align with your purpose, achievements become more than milestones. They become proof that you're living your why. True success isn't measured by what you accomplish. It's defined by why you do it. Lesson 9. Finding your why. To lead with why, you must first discover it, and your why isn't something you invent. It's something you uncover. Simon Sinek explains, "You don't invent your why, you uncover it." Your why lies in your beliefs, your values, and the purpose that drives you. To find it, ask yourself these questions. Why does your business exist? Why do you get out of bed every day? Why should anyone care? Your why isn't in your product strategies or plans. It's in your story. Look inward, reflect on your experiences, and uncover the deeper reason behind your actions. Your why is the compass that guides you. It's the foundation of your leadership, your vision, and your success. Once you find it, share it boldly. When you lead with why, you don't just inspire others. You transform the world around you. When leaders start with why, they inspire loyalty, trust, and action. They build movements, not just businesses. Leaders who communicate their purpose with clarity set themselves apart in a crowded world. They give people something to believe in, a vision of the future that is bold, meaningful, and worth working toward. These leaders don't just focus on profits or products, they focus on people, on building trust, connection, and shared purpose. They recognize that the most powerful organizations are built on relationships, not transactions. As Simon Sinek reminds us, if we all start with why, we will change the world. And that's the ultimate goal. To inspire change, create progress, and leave a lasting impact that extends far beyond the bottom line. When you start with why, you don't just build success, you build significance. You don't just lead, you inspire. And that inspiration becomes a ripple that changes the world. One person, one team, one organization at a time. Thank you for listening to Start With Why by Simon Sinek.